Hello, greetings to the presentation about the Registered Nurses Association of Ontario, the RNAOs, a snapshot of RNAO best practice guidelines. I'm a University of Victoria student here in Selkirk College, and we're doing an assignment on informatics. So, explaining how technology tools nurses can use in practice to help improve their practice. So first I want you to search online rnao.ca and you'll find the lovely website, and you click on the tab of best practice guidelines. You can also search RNAO or BPG, best practice guidelines, and it's one of the top hits you will find on your most search engines in Canada. So these best practice guidelines were supported and developed with funding from the Ontario Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care and support from Health Canada's Office of Nursing Policy. And the 50 published guidelines that was also made with a toolkit and educator resources to support implementation. Many of these publications are available in French, Spanish, and other languages. So what is a practice guideline? Let's just show you. If you click the browse by topic, you will see the 50 guidelines there. They're tools to support clinical and management decision making, your direct practice, and these can lead to policy and inform standards and protocols. So why do you want to use this? You want to use this this is for your point of care use by clinicians and nurses to direct our practice and impact patient outcomes based on evidence, right? So how best practice guidelines are used? They're used to assist in gathering client information for informed decision making, to develop client care plans, care maps, clinical pathways, and algorithms for system processes and outcomes and day-to-day practice, policies, procedures, and documentation. They're also used as learning sets and educational packages for staff orientation and development. Best practice guidelines are developed and implemented to deliver effective patient-centered care based on current evidence, to resolve a problem in the clinical setting, for example, poor management of pain, to achieve excellence in care delivery by meeting or exceeding quality assurance standards, to introduce innovation, treatment, or test that has been developed, and then now, how do we put that into practice? These can be useful for that. To eliminate the use of interventions that are not recognized as best practice, and to create work environments that enable clinical excellence. This is RNAO 2012 article. So here we're going to click on, I chose to click on the suicide best practice guideline. When you have a patient that you need to maybe beef up your nursing knowledge around your assessment and care of adults at risk for suicide ideation and behavior, this is a great document to review to get a quick overview, or maybe there's a certain part that you might need some help with in your practice that this could be helpful for. So this is a big document, and I'll show you some of the table of contents, their recommendations, their evidence, how they developed this, the purpose and the scope of the document, context. So there's the guiding principles and assumptions in the assessment and care for adults at risk for suicidal ideation and behavior. There's your assessment and care. There's practice recommendations, education, organization, and policy recommendations, which I'll show an example of. They also give ideas about research gaps that they see and future implications. of practice. There's also a great guideline in the RNAO toolkit, which I'll talk about later, that can help recognize the gaps that your own practice or your own facilities may have within them. So, you can look through the recognizing the gaps in practice toolkit. And then there's strategies and so on and so forth. So here's a picture of the practice recommendations. They're like our quality indicators. There are practice quality indicators that we use in our practice appraisals to aim and guide our practice, as well as education, to guide our education frameworks and our organization and policy frameworks, to support nursing students, to support nurses, and our organization in providing the best care for patients. So here is a lovely appendix of great tools that we can use at our fingertips right there in the document for all sorts of things like cultural safety, environmental safety, risk factors, protective factors. It's a good review for people if they may have forgotten some things that they once knew but haven't seen certain cases in their practice for a while. That things that we're going to look at for your assessment, your mental health assessment, your interview questions assessment. Maybe there's a few questions you forgot. There's a great list. There's assessment tools that are out there that there's links to, the observation levels that your practice placement may have already in place. Postvention intervention, so that's if there was a suicide, and so here's some strategies for you to use and how to address that. Staff debriefing strategies, educational resources if you need more information for a certain case. How to develop your work through an ethical decision-making moment that you might have in practice, and then how to apply this toolkit, how to apply this best practice in your area. So the next thing is our app. Okay, the RNAO has put out an app you can put on your phone or your tablet. It's free, it's portable. You just click on it, you get the RNAO icon, and it takes you to a search, or also you can select from different topics. There's addiction and mental health, chronic disease, clinical management, foundational, healthy work environment, older adults, and women and children. They're simplified from the documents to be really concise and succinct. So you have everything that you need at your fingertips for a quick review before you approach your patient. Practice recommendations. I just highlighted a few things that I kind of had. I'll show you. Interview questions, strategies, potential hazards that might be in your facility, and of course the amazing empowerment for clients is the possible strategies for affirming client self-worth. And so we'll look, there's the quality indicators, the practice recommendations, and a list of your mental health status assessment, items that you'll look for and chart about, some interview questions, strategies for problem solving, and how to approach solutions. These are really quick things. So for nursing students, nurses, we need something that is really easy that we can get to. Our computers sometimes are slow at work, so we want something maybe in our handheld devices that we could quickly look up something we need a quick review about might be an application you might want to put on your phone. I know I have a few applications like a medication guide or clinical pathway guides. This one put out by RNAO might be very useful for you, especially as a new grad or as a nursing student. So the RNAO's best practice guidelines are recommended by Canadian national and provincial nursing associations such as Canadian Nurses Association and the ARNBC, Association of Registered Nurses of BC. You'd be surprised at how many links are actually out there that are focused on primary care. And yeah, we need these resources. We need this resource for nurses to have quick access, public access. So for additional resources, I mentioned before the toolkit. This is a beautiful document. It is amazing. It's how to implement best practice guidelines locally, and it's not just a step-by-step guide or cookbook as they mentioned. It gives you ideas. It gives you community assessment tools that we talk about in our nursing studies class about promoting community and society health. It talks about so many different things. It's a really neat document to check out. I'll give you a quick way to find it. You can remember to search RNAO in the search engine, and it'll come up best practice guidelines or RNAO toolkit. You'll find it even if you just type best practice guidelines. You'll find it. So for my classmates, if you could please give me some feedback to my email, that'd be lovely. And we also have some additional resources that are other collections of evidence-based research and databases and libraries of other guidelines out there that you may find useful for your research and practice. Here's my reference page, ARNBC, CNA, and RNAO websites. So thank you very much for listening to this today, and it was my first video PowerPoint presentation I ever made. So thank you, and hope you enjoyed it. Bye for now.